Have you ever wished a teddy bear could come to life and join you on adventures? That's exactly what happens in the Suitcase Adventures of Sebastian Bear. Sebastian is a stuffed bear, but to the children he travels with, he's very much real, and his curiosity often leads to trouble, with the kids taking the fall. Our school library only had 2 of the series' 3 books, Sebastian Bear at the Tower of London and Sebastian in Egypt. But even with just these, it's easy to see why kids are drawn to him. Each story takes Sebastian and the children to new places, full of gentle adventures, funny mishaps, and small mysteries, all sprinkled with historical and cultural tidbits. These beginning chapter books aimed at elementary readers strike a lovely balance between learning and playful storytelling, all while remaining wholesome and safe, a solid choice for both families and classrooms. The travel and adventure themes are naturally engaging, and there's a light element of mystery that keeps kids curious and turning the pages. I love that kids see these as fun books, but they're also learning a little about history and geography along the way. They make a perfect supplement for lessons on the locations Sebastian visits. The predictable structure helps younger readers follow along and feel confident, while the recurring characters, Sebastian and the kids, are a reliable, likable team. The illustrations are charming and help bring the adventures to life, making this a strong beginning chapter book. And I really appreciate the historical pages at the very end, which give further reading and fun facts, a neat little bonus for curious minds. Even with all of its charm, there are a few things that didn't quite work for me. The stories can feel a bit repetitive from book to book, the same rhythm, similar situations, and a fairly predictable arc. That's not necessarily a bad thing for younger readers, though. In fact, it can help them feel more confident and comfortable, but adults might notice the pattern. Character-wise, both the children and Sebastian himself stay fairly surface level. We don't get much emotional depth or development, which keeps the stories light, but also limits how connected readers might feel. Again, for beginning chapter books, that's not a deal breaker, just something to note. And while I really appreciated the educational elements, especially the way history and geography are tucked into each story, I found myself wishing the learning moments went just a little deeper. In Sebastian Bear in Egypt, for example, the Sphinx gets a brief mention, but its fascinating cultural and historical significance is mostly left unexplored. With such rich material to work with, it felt like a missed opportunity to blend more learning into the fun. And while I did enjoy the humor in Emily getting blamed for Sebastian's mischief, I was a little torn about how it played out. Sebastian means well, but trouble follows him everywhere, sneaking out of bed, wandering off after being told to stay put, or blurting out a comment that gets someone else in trouble. Poor Emily takes the blame every time, and it becomes a bit repetitive after a while. I couldn't help but get Curious George vibes, endearing chaos with good intentions, but I also found myself wondering about the message it sends. Children's tutor often comes across as a bit harsh or oblivious, which could unintentionally suggest to young readers that adults are unfair or just don't get it. Maybe it's meant as a lighthearted nod to how differently kids and grown-ups see the world, but I think that dynamic could have been handled with a little more care. Lastly, with only 2 of the 3 books available in our school library, I can't say I've gotten the full picture of the series, but even from what's here, it's clear the stories could benefit from just a bit more richness and variety to shine. Highlighted adventures. In Sebastian Bear in London, the group explores famous landmarks and gets into a few small scrapes along the way. Sebastian's curiosity never seems to take a day off. The story offers fun glimpses of Big Ben, the Tower of London, and gives a classic British charm. In Sebastian Bear in Egypt, the tone shifts slightly to highlight ancient wonders. But again, Sebastian's wandering paws keep things lively. I particularly liked how the book introduced the pyramids and mummies in a way that felt approachable rather than spooky. Still, I was hoping for more background on the Sphinx. It's such a fascinating piece of history and just deserved a little more time in the spotlight, in my opinion. Final takeaway. Overall, the Suitcase Adventures of Sebastian Bear is a wholesome educational series that encourages curiosity and imagination. It's ideal for early readers who enjoy gentle adventure stories and learning about new places along the way. If you can find all 3 books, including Sebastian Bear in Central Park, it's worth completing the set. But even if your library, like ours, only carries the adventures from London and Egypt, you'll still get a sweet taste of what makes this little bear so charming. As a librarian and a lifelong lover of travel tales, I have a soft spot for adventure stories that make kids curious about the wider world. These books do just that, while keeping things innocent, humorous, and full of heart. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Have you or your kids read any of the Sebastian Bear adventures? Which setting, London, Egypt, or Central Park, is your favorite, or would you like to explore? That's all for now. Take care, stay curious, and I'll see you next time.